Chief Bivens to sit in on the press conference. He hadn't been on the others, and the reason I asked him here was not to make any statements, but just so you kind of put a face with someone who's been in the investigation since day one, actually day one. And so, Chief is here, and just before I start in the actual press conference, just so you know, is I did discuss with the chief and other law enforcement officials about the changes we've made in the reward, so and how we've ordered it and things like that. So what we're trying to do is get everybody on the same page a little bit. So having said that, I'll go ahead and start into the press release that I've got and a few statements that I'll make, and then you can ask questions. How's that? What we've done is basically put together a press release that is similar to things we've done in the past. However, we've added one clause to the press release, which we're changing the reward and the contingencies, is what I call them, or you might want to say the scope of getting a reward. So as it reads is this: the City of Colorado City and law enforcement agencies are changing the scope for the reward offered in the Hailey Dunn missing case. The reward of $15,000 is now being offered for, and underlined, any information that leads to the whereabouts of Hailey Dunn. Tips or information will be treated anonymously. Please help us put this together and get it out to the public, and so that you being the media. Now, what we've done is we've clarified the whereabouts aspect, and that's the only clause that we're really trying to get out there versus other things that have been stated with people independently, whether they be a voluntary group, whether they be other agencies, whoever is out there. In reality, the City of Colorado City has always controlled the reward money and funds, and it's in our vault, so to speak. So what we've eliminated has been things such as statements, the safe return of Hailey. Although we would very much like the safe return of Hailey, that may not be likely. Also, statements have been made and put in flyers that I've seen, not our flyers, but statements about the successful prosecution of anybody that might have taken Hailey or done anything with Hailey under duress or something along that line. So what we've done is we've eliminated that clause also. And if there were other clauses I don't know about, they may exist to that statement of the contingency related to getting a reward. What we're doing now is strictly saying any information that leads to the whereabouts of Hailey Dunn. So, having said that, we certainly understand as being in administration and being related to our local PD that Hailey may be deceased. That may be our complete thinking, that is, she is under, or that she is deceased. But I am saying that, of course, she may also be under duress. That may be an unlikelihood, but she may be under duress. She may be somewhere against her, her will. And at this particular time, we're certainly trying to do everything we can to organize and put the right kinds of situations together, and organizing ourselves, especially through law enforcement at this time, to try to locate Hailey. Now, I am not speaking on any related aspects to prosecution. I'm not a prosecutor, and I'm not representing, the DA's office. But we're trying to work to find Hailey as best we can. So if somebody were to call, they would be handled through the phone number that's on this press release. We will put out another flyer. We'll design one and put one out, making the same statement, and that calls will go anonymously to our local PD and then disperse from there. So anyway, we're trying as much as we can with all the resources still that we have available, to include other law enforcement agencies, to locate Hailey, and to whatever format that is or how that comes in being her status. That's what we're trying to do. And I'm hoping that we don't have let's say a 6-month or a year, type of request to her status or her location. We're trying as best we can, and we have a lot of resources available to locate Hailey. Do I have any questions?
Pete, do authorities believe it's more likely that she's deceased than she's under duress? Is it a 50-50 kind of thing at this point, or is it kind of leaning in one direction?
Well, I'm going to add in some reflections on that. From the beginning, statements were always being made that she is deceased or under duress. That's basically how they were working the criminal investigation from law enforcement. And I think law enforcement in general was always thinking along that line. I don't want to try to fool anybody. But certainly as time has gone on, I think reasonable adults, and then of course me being in city administration, at this time we feel like that she is probably or most likely deceased. And I'll say it that way. Now I have no basis of being, a prosecutor, and they didn't ask me to say that. But I'm saying that, we're looking at it now that we're trying to put out a reward for anything leading to her whereabouts. And we certainly want to try to locate Hailey.
You've been saying that she's likely deceased or under duress for most of this time and treating it as such. Can you just address headlines today saying that officials believe that she's deceased?
Well, and I haven't read everything that's already out there, and I haven't studied it to, being asked about her particular, status, there again, I guess it comes back to that in my thinking, and in being asked and why we're here, is that reasonably she probably is deceased. But I'm adding in an aspect of duress that there may be a slim possibility, because I have no proof that, she's totally deceased. I don't have that. I don't think anybody does. So having said that, being the nature of all the information that I have, I'm leaving that caveat in there. That's the best way I can answer that.
Why have you decided to broaden the search and take out the contingencies like the successful prosecution and kind of make it more broad about information? Why have you decided to do that now?
Well, it basically is that, trying to put this case on a different level to get it concluded, to find something related to Hailey and her whereabouts. That if we take out those contingencies, there may be persons out there that know aspects, maybe even secondhand, to the location of Hailey. And there may be any possibility that somebody has made a statement that knows where she is. They may even be the culprits, let's say, or subjects. If they made a statement that would come back to somebody and then they reported it back to us, that's what we're hoping. Let us know something that we can run on. So we're eliminating things like successful prosecution. At this point, that doesn't matter. We want to find Hailey. That's in our minds from where we're at. The additional one is that, a safe return of Hailey. If somebody knew that she wasn't, going to be able to safely be returned, they might not say anything. So, anything to help us do something to get the case where we can take it to another level of either prosecution in the future, or getting the case where we could add more to the evidence side. That's what we're trying to do.
Some of the searchers have told me that they sort of use the hope that Hailey Dunn is still alive as an inspiration to keep going out there every week or every weekend, so to speak, and search. Should they abandon that hope at this point? Would that be the most reasonable thing to do?
Well, and I think there's two things to be served there. Let's say you had a volunteer group that, and I was being pessimistic, but they were still out searching. Let's say they found something related to Hailey, to include her person, but say it was clothing or anything to that. I mean, we're hoping for that. We've done a lot of searching on the organized, law enforcement side, but, maybe there's somebody that'll be out there still, really feels like we need to have resolution to the case, that cares about it to that extent, even though it's pessimistic on our behalf, that they're out there trying to locate some aspect of Hailey. That's what we're trying to do. And I think, motivating people, that's something that's, obviously within a person. I can't describe all the feelings and aspect to that, but in our mind, anything we can do to keep people engaged to voluntarily look or provide us any tips like we're asking for is what we're trying to do. I mean,